So, in the previous chapter, before chapter 1044 came out, this is 13 days ago, shout out to my guy Scribble, because he said this and I felt like it was perfect, or the perfect way to start off this video. He said in chapter 253 of One Piece, when we see the silhouette of Luffy dancing with the wolves around a bonfire, the same silhouette we connect to sun god NIKA, the instrument that Usopp is playing is a drum. Now in this chapter, the chapter he's referencing is 1043, Zunisha hears the same sound of a drum coming from what we presume to be Luffy's heartbeat and calls it the drums of liberation. What gets me excited is the title of the chapter that comes after 253, chapter 254, Song of Dawn. We'll elaborate after the intro. So yes, what a chapter, what a time to be alive. The drums of liberation, Zunisha, the connections to Joy Boy, I love it. I love the fact that Luffy isn't reincarnated. I love the fact that the connection is actually just Zunisha pairing Luffy's heartbeat and the drums. And that's fire to me because it's all been foreshadowed. It's all different things Oda has talked about and the foreshadowing video is coming. We're just compiling some more information. However, in Skypiea, it's a great place to go back and look at things and you're going to look at it through a different lens because Oda was in his bag. Now this chapter, there are several theory connections you can make, and this is starting to become a series because you guys seem to enjoy it. When we pull theories from the chapter, and there are a bunch that we can go to from this chapter, we're going to get into it right here because Oda, oh my god. But let's talk about NIKA. The NIKA, or the Hito, which is the human fruit model NIKA. So we have other human fruits like Chopper, but that's the base model, right? Crazy. Sengoku, which is model Buddha. But there's also another Hito that people aren't really talking about, and that's Onimaru. That's his devil fruit. He can transform into a yokai via this. So I'm sure I'm not the only person who thought of this. That more than likely there are other devil fruits out there that we think is just a regular fruit, but it's actually a mythical Zoan that's disguised as something else. But Luffy and his abilities, it's strictly about his imagination and how imaginative he can be. Something I want to say as well is how amazing Luffy is because this devil fruit, first off, a lot of people have gotten this fruit because it's been 800 years since it's awakened, meaning for the other people who had gotten this fruit, they did not have the imagination or the creativity to get to this point. That's why the model NIKA, the awakening rewards the user because your imagination would have to run wild beforehand. It's just rubber. That's all you know. Then as you grow with your imagination, how you change, for Luffy was the gears, you then get to a place where you can finally awaken. Of course, we don't know the specifics or the logistics behind how exactly this happened. You would just assume extreme cases, but he did it, right? He's that guy. But this shows Luffy's potential and ability to grow, and it's, you know, it's like a perfect reward. You have gotten this powerful via just thinking this fruit was rubber. Here's your reward. This fruit is actually a mythical Zoan. We're gonna buff everything you already have, make your rubber a bit more rubbery so you can do a lot more. And again, you're limited only by your imagination, which for Luffy, that's something we always loved. That's the perfect awakening for Luffy. Back then, it was just about Luffy trying to figure out different ways to use his fruit. And then for his awakening to be somewhat slapstick, right, using Toon Force, which if you guys have watched cartoons, we watch anime, so we watch cartoons. Tom and Jerry, right, the Looney Tunes, how they can pull weapons out of their back pocket and ends up being like a large axe or pummel. It is the perfect upgrade for Luffy, but it's also an example of Luffy's ability to grow. Another takeaway from this chapter that people have been bringing to me is the fact that Sun God NIKA could be based on this specific Brazilian mythological creature, and it's called the Curupira. According to cultural legends, this creature has bright red-orange hair. It resembles a man or a dwarf, but its feet are turned backwards. The reason why people are using this is because one, it's Brazilian. Oda said if Luffy was a nationality or where he's from, he would be Brazilian. And then if you just look at the character, you can definitely see the similarities, right? So people are starting to pull and find so many different theories, but this is one I wanted to point out because I really haven't heard anyone talk about it, but I think it's really cool. In a previous video, I went back to Sandman_AP on Twitter, and some of the compilations of Oda just saying things. In this chapter, it's a little different. I'm gonna just go back again if you guys missed it, okay? So again, Sandman's tweet in 2021 Jump Festa, Oda said to pay attention to Luffy. Oda also says, next time NIKA appears, he'll show his face. Well, that just happened. He also says, the audience would not be satisfied if Luffy just beats Kaido with a strong punch. He's correct. I don't want Kaido to lose like that. Give us something different. He also says Skypiea Party is his third favorite in the series, where the same sound effects was used as the drums of liberation. All the things Oda has referenced or talked about is playing out that way. Which then brings us to Kaido, because Kaido's response to everything, it's somewhat subdued. It is not as over the top as you would expect it to be, even though Kaido's getting caught up in his pace because Luffy is a Looney Tune. And you know what, something as well, for Luffy's ability, this could just be a result of the showcase where Luffy's touching Kaido, and every time he touches him, Kaido looks a bit more zany. The art style is noticeably more different, or or a bit different. So again, this could just be a thing just in a vacuum and not Luffy changing things to Toon World. But we gotta wait and see because oh my god. So now, Luffy versus Blackbeard. This will be deeply thematic. Oda gave us a picture of Blackbeard when he was younger and the moon was in a shot. Now looking at it, Luffy being the sun god, Blackbeard having the Yami Yami, basically using the darkness to block out the sun. Then you can go to the callback with Ace versus Blackbeard, where Ace talks about let's see who wins. It's sun versus darkness. Of course, Ace literally created a sun, but the same conversations could happen when Luffy faces off against Blackbeard, which this is going to be an amazing matchup. Also, could Blackbeard again be a Hito Hito no Mi, right? Because he can turn into a Logia. It gives him gravity / darkness powers. And then of course for him, he got his information from Devil Fruit books and stuff like that. You cannot trust information that's in the books. I know we're jumping to conclusions with this one, but it's not crazy based on what happened with Luffy. And guys, please don't do this, okay? Because nothing at this point is too insane. Luffy just transformed into a pixie, a fairy, a toon god, right? Of course, the sun god. He's transformed into someone who is only limited by their imagination, of course, within the confines of rubber for the most part, but that's what he's limited by. So don't limit my imagination and I won't limit yours, because at this point, you're probably just imagining yourself subscribing to this channel, okay? Look down. If that button is red, you change it. And if you're already subscribed, drop a like and let's go, because guys, we got to talk about Kaido and Kaido's creations. Kaido was trying to create Smile Devil Fruits, and we know Kaido's obsession with Joy Boy. I've talked about Sandman AP and him pointing out that Kaido's name, the kanji, it means Joy Boy / strong kid. So he has a connection, or rather an obsession with Joy Boy, because he talks about Luffy not being Joy Boy either when he was falling off. But then we have to go back to something else really interesting. This is when Sandman corrected the Viz, right? Where Kaido says, the more precarious the situation is, the more you laugh. And the more you laugh, you ... Now with more context, is Kaido implying that Luffy's getting stronger the more he laughs? Like Kaido was getting stronger as he was fighting. So for Kaido, was he trying to recreate the Nika fruit? Was that the point of the Zoan fruits, or even Vegapunk, the smile fruits? Because you're forced to smile. And for Sun God Nika, Luffy is smiling or laughing somewhat uncontrollably. And I love the fact that Luffy is unapologetically still himself. He does not even know that he's a god, right? It is Gear 5 and he just, hey man, I don't know, I feel weird, my heart is beating like a drum, I don't get it. Gear 5, I guess? It is the perfect upgrade and power up for this kid. So for Kaido, was he trying to get there? Was he trying to, again, force the situation? Yamato's fruit, the connection to Wano, telling Yamato, hey, I chose Wano for a specific reason. You are ignorant. The Joy Boy conversations. Kaido knows a lot more than we think, and I think it has a lot to do with Joy Boy, Sun God Nika, and we're getting so close to what that is. Next, though, something I wanted to talk about was Luffy's new fruit. And what if Luffy ate a Rumble Ball? Because what a Rumble Ball does, based on what we know, is that it enhances the user's biochemistry. So it creates new abilities if you eat one. I'm not saying Luffy's just going to be throwing them back like M&Ms, but what if Luffy's in a precarious situation and he's like, Chopper, let me have a Rumble Ball. And it's like, oh shit, this is a completely different thing because Luffy is actually a Zoan. Now for Luffy's transformations, why can't he just transform into a Zoan? This fruit is special. And mythical Zoans, they all have different rules, different abilities. They're not regular. And that's what I love about Oda and how he's done it, because pre-time skip, it was all about Logias. Early post-time skip, Paramecia, they were dominating. With Law, Doflamingo, we were in love with Paramecia Devil Fruits. Of course, Luffy's, we thought at the time. And Zoans were a throwaway. People did not love Zoans like that. Now we're in Wano. Mythical Zoans could be the best set of Devil Fruits. And I'm sorry as well, I forgot about Whitebeard's fruit, but Oda likes bringing balance to the story. Like with the Haki, then Devil Fruit, then Haki again, but advanced Haki, but then Awakenings. He does that, right? He understands that balance is necessary outside and inside of the story. And this brings us to Shanks. Shanks and the Devil Fruit. The new theory, popular theory that's floating around, is that Shanks brought the Devil Fruit and was actually looking for Ace because he heard that Roger's son was alive. I don't have a problem with the idea. It's just that when we read the Ace novel, there was no indication that Shanks was thinking about Ace, right? That would have been the perfect time to throw a hint for Shanks to mention something. It was just Shanks saying, I don't understand this kid. And then Ben Beckman saying that Ace is just an ignorant fool. I like the fact that even though the fruit was hidden and it having its own will, it somehow made its way to Luffy. And also something I want to bring up is that after the last chapter, a lot of the conversations we had were about destiny and preordained, things being predetermined, determinism. This chapter is literally all about freedom. From the Devil Fruit to Luffy to the actual Sun God. It's all about freedom. Luffy's dream claims to be the freest man on the seas. What better way than to have a devil fruit that's only limited by you, your imagination? You can do and become whatever you want to. There is basically no limit. Oda and this idea of freedom, it is embedded within One Piece. And Luffy, he carries that forward. And with this new form, if you like it or you hate it, this is the ultimate form of freedom. That's what it is. But it does make me think about the Gomu Gomu no Mi. No, the actual Gomu Gomu no Mi. It has to be out there. So for the world government, they're actually smart though, because they have a balance that they have to maintain. Actually, hold on. The Gomu Gomu no Mi, what if Luffy has a Duval, right? There's somebody out there that's consistently getting chased down by the world government because every time they say Gomu Gomu no, and it's like, they really just have the rubber fruit, but they're not as popular, obviously. And it's like, yo, why do Marines always come after me when they find out I have this fruit? Is it illegal or something? That'd be something amazing if Oda touches on that. Somebody actually having the rubber fruit. And just going through it because Monkey D. Luffy, and of course the lore behind the fruit. Back to the world government though, the conversation now is the balance they have to maintain. Balance in the world government is so important because now, even though Luffy has this fruit, they cannot bring too much attention to it. Okay, you cannot put his bounty at 1 billion when he just fought Arlong, because at that point people are like, wait, why is his bounty that high? What's going on, right? So it could be, well, maybe because he's a D, maybe because he's Garp's grandson, maybe because he's the son of Dragon, but it's a fine line for them, right? So even back then, the world government that predates them, changing the name of that fruit it's great because it's just a regular fruit. Anyone that gets this fruit is just like, oh my gosh, it's just rubber. But if you have insane will, you have drive, and you have imagination, this fruit will reward you. So it is the ultimate fruit based on personality. You get out what you put in. Whatever you would like for things to be within the realms or the confines of what the fruit can do, you can do. Luffy never felt, woe is me, why do I have this fruit? It was always about, I'm going to get stronger regardless. I have the rubber fruit, I'm a man made of rubber, and he's made the absolute best of it. Luffy's eyes in this chapter as well, a little weird. It's similar to Zunisha, Mihawk, Imu, Hakuba. Hakuba seems to be some type of possession. For Zunisha, it's been walking for a while for whatever reason, and you know, Momonosuke had to control it. Mihawk, we have no idea. Definitely a candidate for my Hito video that I'm gonna make as far as like what devil fruit he could have. But then Imu could also be a mythical zone. And I don't even know if that's the connection between the eyes. But then Mihawk, he realized Luffy's terrifying power. I mean, his power is ridiculous, but he realized that Luffy's power is terrifying. Ridiculous meaning it is goofy, it is loony, it is zany, and it is destructive and dangerous as hell. But Mihawk, is there anything to Mihawk realizing that power? We know through Oda and different Vivid cards and SBSs, Mihawk's power, his eyes, his name, his theme somewhat is clairvoyance. Did he see something? Did he realize something within Luffy that was a bit deeper than just rubber? Of course, I'm stretching like a NIKA, but I'm just saying, Mihawk is going to be really important with all this information when it comes about. Guys, there's so much with this chapter that we can discuss. I can't wait to talk about it more, but we've reached the end. Give me your thoughts. How do you feel about all this? Make sure to like the video if you did, right? Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter at BragoDAce. Follow me on Instagram at BragoD.Ace. Thank you to my patrons. I appreciate you guys all so much. Again, guys, be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
I start doubting me, I felt lost. I rewrite it.